When my grandfather left me Mercer Ranch, I inherited over 5,000 acres of untouched Montana land. I thought I knew every fence line and every corner of the property. I couldn't have been more wrong. While inspecting an old section of fencing, I noticed fresh tire tracks leading into an area nobody had visited for years. Curious, I followed them deeper into the ranch. What I discovered left me speechless. Hidden beyond a line of cottonwood trees stood an entire neighborhood. More than 60 brand-new homes had been built on my family's land without my knowledge. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. A large decorative sign proudly welcomed residents into the subdivision. Nowhere did it mention Mercer Ranch, even though every inch of land belonged to my family. Something was seriously wrong. I drove farther inside and watched children playing, while families enjoyed their afternoon. None of them seemed to realize they were living on privately owned ranch land. I decided to find answers before saying a word. I visited the county records office the very next morning. Within minutes, the official property maps confirmed my suspicion. The entire subdivision had only an easement for road access. The land itself still belonged to Mercer Ranch. The surveyor carefully explained that decades earlier, a limited access agreement had been recorded. It allowed one private road to cross my ranch, but nothing more. No one had permission to control or claim my land. I hired an independent survey company to verify every property line. Bright orange survey flags soon stretched across the fields. The measurements matched the county records perfectly. Armed with the official survey, I attended the next HOA board meeting. I politely introduced myself as the owner of Mercer Ranch. The room fell completely silent. Karen quickly recovered and insisted their attorneys had already handled everything years ago. She claimed the neighborhood had permanent access forever. I calmly asked her to show the paperwork. Instead of providing documents, Karen accused me of trying to intimidate the community. Several homeowners looked confused because they had never heard about Mercer Ranch before. Questions quickly spread around the room. A week later, I received legal papers. The HOA had filed a lawsuit demanding unrestricted access across my ranch. Rather than getting angry, I contacted an experienced property attorney. My attorney reviewed every document from the past 40 years. After several hours, he smiled and pointed to one overlooked clause. The HOA's entire lawsuit depended on an assumption that wasn't supported by the recorded agreement. The agreement clearly required the HOA to maintain the access road every year. County inspection reports showed that obligation had been ignored for nearly a decade. That changed everything. After discussing every option, we decided not to respond emotionally. We would simply enforce the original agreement exactly as it had been written. Nothing more and nothing less. The court declined the HOA's request for an emergency order. That meant the original easement rules remained in effect. The responsibility now shifted back to the HOA. Following legal advice, I placed temporary barriers near the ranch entrance while road repairs were scheduled. Clear signs explained that access would reopen once maintenance requirements were satisfied. Everything followed the recorded agreement. Residents gathered near the entrance, asking what was happening. I calmly explained the road maintenance requirements and encouraged them to speak with their HOA board. Most appreciated the respectful explanation. Karen arrived furious, demanding that I remove the barriers immediately. I handed her a copy of the recorded easement agreement instead. She refused to even look at it. By sunset, county officials confirmed the road repairs would begin the following morning. Until then, the entrance remained temporarily closed under the existing agreement. For the first time, the HOA realized the rules applied to everyone equally. The next morning, county-approved contractors arrived with heavy equipment to repair the aging access road. Since the easement required proper maintenance, the temporary closure remained in place. Residents watched as years of neglected damage became impossible to ignore. Several homeowners approached me with respectful questions about what had happened. I explained that the road was never permanently closed. It simply had to be maintained according to the legal agreement. Many were surprised that the HOA had never shared those details. Karen arrived with the HOA board, insisting the repairs should stop immediately. A county engineer calmly explained that the work followed the recorded easement requirements. Her argument quickly lost momentum. The county engineer showed everyone the inspection report. Deep erosion and damaged drainage made immediate repairs necessary for safety. Even some HOA residents thanked the workers for fixing the road properly. By afternoon, the first section of the road had already been rebuilt. Fresh gravel, improved drainage, and reinforced shoulders made the entrance safer than it had been in years. The progress spoke for itself. The judge later reviewed the HOA's request for unrestricted access. After examining the easement documents, the court declined to expand the agreement beyond its original terms. The recorded property rights remained unchanged. News of the decision spread quickly throughout the neighborhood. Many homeowners realized they had been relying only on information from the HOA board. Several began requesting copies of the official records themselves. Within days, the HOA agreed to cooperate with the county's maintenance schedule. New communication between both sides replaced months of unnecessary conflict. Practical solutions finally took priority. As construction wrapped up, the temporary barriers were removed. Traffic resumed safely through the improved entrance exactly as the easement allowed. Everything now operated according to the original agreement. Several residents stopped to thank me for handling the situation calmly. They admitted they had never known the history of the land beneath their neighborhood. Honest communication had changed the entire atmosphere. Standing beside the restored entrance, I looked across the ranch my grandfather had worked his entire life to protect. Respecting property rights didn't create conflict. It created clarity. That lesson would last far longer than any lawsuit.